welcome to the first episode of the I Hate Car Salesmen podcast. This is Bujar.
Nice to meet you.
This is Kevin.
Nice to meet you.
So what we're going to do on this podcast is we're going to discuss all things the car business, okay? So there's going to be times when we're going to talk about, Schaumburg and Honda, where we work. There's going to be times when we talk about the industry as a whole. There's going to be times when we talk about things that have nothing to do with the car business because, like most good car salespeople, we all have severe ADHD. And so we could go off on a tangent at any point in time.
Exactly.
But what I wanted to talk about to get it started was last month was my first month here. So I started here at Schaumburg Honda on the 15th of October. So I've been here for about 2 weeks now. And I wanted to talk about last month. And I wanted to specifically talk about you guys as sales associates. What did you think about October as a whole for the store? What challenges and wins did both of you have, if any? And how do you feel about the direction of the store with me being here and the changes in management and everything, and with Honda and the whole thing? So, Kevin, how was your month last month?
Yeah, I thought October was a little bit interesting. Not a usual October. Could see a little bit of slowness, kind of sprinkling itself in between everywhere. But at the same time, we're adapting to the new building and adapting to a lot of the processes. So for like our first full month with our new processes and buildings and everything, I think it was killer. I think it was awesome.
It's the buildings.
Yeah, buildings, right? Yeah, the building, the organization working the kinks out, really. So first full month with the all the new processes and everything, I think it was killer. We're neck and neck with St. Charles. That's the goal.
Yeah,
so.
That's awesome. That's our biggest competitor. I'm learning, right? That's our biggest competitor.
Absolutely, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. St. Charles is the biggest competitor that we're dealing with right now, but it was definitely a challenge.
So what did you think about first month in the building, just the whole thing? I mean, what was it like for you as well, you guys are both top salesmen, but I mean, what was it like from your end as a salesperson being in this amazing, facility and, all this stuff?
You know what, Sean, I have to admit, it was exciting. It was a lot to look forward to. There was a lot of good things, bad things, of course, to come, but more like, reaching the top, being the best that we can be.
Yeah.
Finding out how we can do it as a team, right. Having great manager staff, having some experience. It was definitely, a push.
Yeah.
We did very well as far as, being very close to our competitor.
Yeah.
And being
What did we finish?
top
How many behind did we finish?
I think we were 9 away from them this month.
We were 9 cars away.
Behind them. Normally we're like 100. So that gap there breaking is huge.
Yeah, so they know we're coming.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Having the inventory that we did, having the inventory that they did. I mean, honestly, that was a win.
Yeah, as chaotic as it
awesome.
is, we're still sharing a lot in the back too. It's like we're figuring it out pretty well. So
yeah, it's not a perfect scenario yet, but I mean, I think we did an amazing job. But yeah, I'll say this though, I've worked at my share of stores. This store, the two of you included, certainly, I would put you guys at the top of the list. The sales staff here just has an amazing attitude. I mean, everybody is excited to be at work. Not everybody. I mean, you're always going to have your, your naysayers or your people who I'm getting screwed. This is happening. This isn't happening. But for the most part, you guys come in, and when I see the two of you, usually you guys are both. Not today. He's had a bad day. Today's been rough for him. Today's not so good for him.
Tomorrow's Saturday though, so
hit the reset button.
Reset button.
I mean, literally, like I was physically worried about you. Wasn't I? Bujar, did I say go? I told him, go calm him down.
Right. He said go check on Kevin.
I go,
he's okay.
Dude, check out our guy, buddy. I mean, he's about to kill somebody.
It was one of those, but we'll be good. We'll be okay.
But that's sales. I mean, Bujar, tell me about a time that you've had a slump. Because Kevin's was more personal, but still, I mean, let's talk about sales slumps because everybody goes through them. And I think if there are salespeople out there watching, I think they'd like to know how guys like yourself, how do you handle it?
So here, I mean, I'll tell you a time. Of course, the biggest slump was transitioning to an old store, new store, old process, new process, adapting to the new ways, new system. Of course, that's the hardest when you're just transitioning and doing all these extra, trying to get your top sales, the most sales, but having an up system.
Yeah.
Dealing with dealing with that transition was hard, but
Yeah.
getting through it and still, of course, selling the most cars, taking care of the customers, that was a challenge, but we,
But when you
got better.
when you suck, when you're in a slump, what do you do? How do you get out of it?
How do you get out of it? Start from scratch. Start from the basics. Hit. Rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
Think about when you first started in sales. Think about what.
There's
What's-
something slipping through the
Do the
cracks.
basics.
basically.
Yeah, no, of course.
Right.
Go. Start from basic one and work your way back.
No matter
up.
what, even
Yeah.
if you're a 50-car guy, there's something somewhere that's slipping through the cracks.
Well, it's amazing because most 50-car guys or
Yeah.
30-car guys or
Yeah.
whatever 40-car guys, whether they know it or not, they do follow the basics every time.
100%.
Now you ask them, they won't admit that. They're like, no, I do my thing. I do my thing. I do whatever I do.
Yeah.
No, what you do is every time you greet somebody professionally, you do a little bit of information gathering, you touch base with the manager, and you can think what you want, but what you really do is you follow a process.
Right.
And for salespeople, for you guys, having a process, even for me, I mean, as a manager, as a whatever, having a process, giving yourself a track to run on is important because you know what the next step is.
Right.
Booyah, Kevin, you guys both know, okay, after I do this, my next step is this.
Right.
If you have nothing but chaos and no process, as a salesperson, it's hard to be effective, let alone convincing somebody to spend a bunch of money if you don't feel like.
Right.
Does that make
No.
sense?
No, it
I mean,
does.
You're a
100%.
process guy, I
Yeah.
think, right?
I think the car business is probably one of the best industries to allow you to put your own spin on a process. So I think the way you said it is perfect, but I'm a big process guy and I literally put my own spin on it. No matter what, it's not cookie cutter, it's going to be with my own way. And
Yeah.
I tell everybody that all the time, even the new guys, but I think some of them overthink it and think they're not doing it right or something like that. But it's as simple as just making a phone call.
All the
and
best
talking to-
salespeopeople are head cases.
Right.
No, of
All the
course.
best salespeople
And you
are head
have to be
cases.
sometimes.
They're focusing on the wrong thing, to be
Mhm.
honest with you. They're focusing
Yeah.
on the sale and not the customer.
Right.
They're focusing on on how to sell the car,
Yeah.
but they're not focusing on how to make a friend.
Yeah, getting ahead of
You know?
themselves.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and so that brings me to another point. One thing that I think both of you guys are very good at naturally, or you've worked on it, is, and today it's so much less about selling a product. It's so much more about building a relationship.
Mhm.
I mean, you are very good at building a relationship with somebody and making them, at least, even though it's probably fake, making them feel special
Right.
and that you care about them and
Sure.
their wants and needs. And I think you really actually do. But so many people are worried about all they want to do is the car, the price, the trade value.
No.
If you build a relationship with somebody where they feel comfortable and trustworthy, even if it's, just manufactured because you're in a sales situation, not that you're going to be best friends, people will spend more with you.
Mhm.
They'll take less for their trade.
Yeah.
They'll do things that, you know what I mean, that if you didn't take that time, they wouldn't.
100%.
Am I right?
It's called trust.
Yeah.
You got to build the
It's a-
trust.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't even give you the time of day. They'll make you think that you're getting the time of day, but in your head, if you're smart enough, if you're a good salesman, you'll know they're not even listening to you. It's going in one ear out the other, and
Yeah.
a lot of those would be information overload situations. 5 printouts given to someone,
Yeah, yeah. So
ruins the whole thing.
to answer the question then, you guys as sales professionals, you would say if anybody out there is struggling right now, get back to the basics.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
build a relationship.
Yeah,
Don't worry
absolutely.
about selling the car.
100%.
Build a relationship.
Make
right?
a friend.
Yeah.
Go outside, meet a friend.
I
become
wouldn't
best
even worry
friends with
about selling a car at all. I would just put yourself in front of as many people as you can and go on as many maybe say go for test drives. Hey, go on 5 test drives. And
Yeah.
then maybe that'll get you back into the normalities and you're not jumping the gun anymore.
Sometimes it's about listening more
Right,
than you
exactly.
speak because
100%.
That's a good
they'll
point.
tell you what they want
Exactly.
They will.
and just follow.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. So good. So, so if you're a salesperson out there and you're struggling right now, your numbers are down or whatever,
Mhm.
you got 2 guys here who had excellent months last month, and month in, month out, they sell, a lot of cars and they get back to the basics and they build relationships. So that's good. So what would you guys say what is your biggest win in sales? I mean, when I say win, not necessarily, what are you most proud of when it comes to yourself as a sales professional? What are you most proud of and what do you think you excel at?
I mean, I'm most proud of gaining the trust from the customer and actually getting a lot of repeat referrals from them because that's what helps me become a better salesperson because I know that I didn't just sell a car. That person is always going to count on me for their next car. Their
Yeah.
neighbors is going to come see me, their
Right.
friends, family, and that's what's going to make me, of course, be a better person to the next salesperson, next customer, moving forward. You know,
Yeah.
that's the only way that will make me better.
Right.
Is to find out how I can, you know, give the next customer a better experience,
Yep.
so I can get the next, you know, more referrals.
Yeah,
What do
100%.
you think that your best asset as a salesperson
So
is?
yeah, I would say honestly,
I think it's the hair.
yeah,
I think it's the hair.
I
It
stand
might be
out
the
a
hair,
little bit.
dude.
Yeah, the hair
It's
helps.
that
I
blonde
stand
hair.
out a little
It
bit.
makes him interesting.
People recognize me
Like,
pretty
wait a
easily.
second, I
actually.
can deal with that guy. Or I want that guy.
Yeah,
You know,
oh,
it's
the
funny.
funny looking guy.
That guy's a little nuts. He's a little
The
crazy.
tall blonde guy.
I
Yeah.
want to work with him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
You know what I mean?
I would say that helps me get recognized a lot. So
I'm
I'll
sure.
be honest, it does help. But mine is really just like I'm kind of a smile and wave kind of guy, you know, like in a good way. Like I think even in a bad situations with customers, like for example, we did a deal where the Subaru had some problems. If you remember that one, she trusts me. She still talks to me. She's been coming back. She's been waiting. She's listening to what I say. So
I think she hates you.
They probably at the same time. But you know, it all comes down to if you can just get someone to just listen to you and trust that you'll give them give you another opportunity. If you can get somebody to do that, I think I'm really good at getting people to trust me and give me that
I
second
think so.
opportunity.
Your people, when I see you with your people, they're vested with you. They're in, you know, you sit where you sit. I walk by frequently, and when I see you with a customer, it's a very private situation. There's a relationship being built. Whereas Bujar, his sales desk is out on the floor a little
Right.
bit, so his is a little more public.
Sure.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
You know, it's
that's
a little
very
more
true.
public, but that's not always a bad thing either.
No,
You
right.
can use that to your advantage.
Yeah.
You know, because there's activity around you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it gives a vibe. You know, so people
Absolutely.
can feel it a little bit.
Make it fun. Make
He's
it
much better
interesting.
you're much better with tone of voice than me. I'm a loud talker like all the time. Like you are usually like always kind of fluctuating your voice too, which works really well for the
Oh,
open
yeah.
floor and then where I am too.
Yeah.
So perfect, yeah.
That's funny. I remember I was in a sales training, I don't know, 9,000 years ago. And the guy started talking like this.
Oh yeah.
And he started talking, and, you know, and I hope the camera's picking it up. He started talking like this in a room this big, full of people. Full of people. He started talking like this. And we're all looking at each other like, what's this dude doing? You know what I'm saying? And we're like,
Right.
There's this guy, right? You know what I mean? Would you have a couple cocktails before we
I think he was talking to himself.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he started talking like
His
this.
inner voice.
But I'll never forget it, dude. I swear on the Bible. If you looked around the room, and what he did was, this guy was a good trainer, so he videoed the whole training. And so what he did, and dude, I'm gonna tell you, I remember it like it was yesterday. He started talking like that. And when he played the video back for us after the training was over, every person in there, one by one or a bunch at the same time, all went like this because we had to hear him.
Yeah.
And that's a skill.
Oh, yeah.
That's a learned skill. And I use that today. When I'm talking to people, I want them to get interested.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tone it down a little bit because I want to see, I want them to do this. Because now
It's a secret.
you see, now you're,
They're following you.
yes, yeah,
Like
you
with
know what I
someone
mean?
social when they come in to tell you
but
they're
you're
social.
definitely paying attention to what I just said right now.
Exactly.
You might have tuned me out before I'm talking loud. But if I talk like this, you're going to lean in.
Yeah.
And you know, not that it's like some psychology trick.
It's like a
It's
passive
just how it
thing,
works. But I think what you're saying, you kind of naturally have that, and I don't even know if you have that.
Right.
But you have that a little bit where you'll talk in a whisper tone a little bit.
He does it, yeah.
And it makes you want to listen to the guy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, he might have the worst sweater on in the world right now, but you still want to listen to him. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
I notice, he's always leaning in with people. You know, people are always leaning in with their deal with
You
him.
know
so,
what?
yeah, this is a good
Well,
thing.
of course, again, take action, lead
Right.
by example. You
Yeah.
know, again,
Yeah.
they'll follow.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
You know, of course, if you have the, you know, if you have the direction.
Yeah, it's a good power to have. Like again ADHD where I just kind of forget. And I'll just
Oh,
talk.
you're
so bad.
And sometimes it's just
Dude.
loud. Like
You're
No. Dude, I know mine's bad. I know
Oh, I'm
mine's
No,
bad.
that's bad.
And I admit mine now.
I'm telling you, there's times when he's in my office talking it now, and
I gotta
I have to make it like I'm like, oh my god, turn it off.
Startle
Like
people.
just please, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
he's
he's
like,
right, too. And I notice it too now.
Yeah,
Like, when I
sure.
was younger, I used to just get mad. Oh, shut up! I'm not being loud. You know what I mean? But now it's like, oh crap, yeah, I got a lot of voice.
Yeah.
So you guys talk to my father, you'd not understand why.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but I think a lot of good salespeople, if they're honest with themselves or if they've ever been diagnosed, a lot of us suffer from ADHD. I know.
100%.
I knew this when I was in high school, and then I tried college for a while.
Yeah.
I knew I was smart. I knew nobody was smarter than me. Like I knew you weren't smarter than me,
Right.
but you could study.
Right.
You could go lock yourself in a room
Mm-hmm.
and study for 2 hours.
Yep.
You
I was
could
the
do
same
that,
way.
and I could. So I would go and lock myself in the room,
Mhm.
open the book, and be like,
Yeah.
"You squirrel, squirrel." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like so I didn't know ADHD wasn't really a thing back then.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Back when dinosaurs roamed the earth.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Back in his days time.
yeah. No,
But no, I think
hey,
you're 100% right.
I'm just mature.
I think
I'm
most
not
of the-
old. I'm mature.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll call it that.
I don't know. I like being old. I'll be honest with you. Like
It's a good
people,
thing.
well, here,
Old man strength.
I've never, like I know a lot of guys like the idea of like getting old or like losing their hair
Mhm.
or getting wrinkles or stuff. They're terrified,
Right.
and so they like do all these things or whatever, or try to dress like they're 14 years old or
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm like, dude, just act your age. Who
Right.
cares?
What you
Yeah,
like?
I don't
Yeah.
care. Like everybody on this planet is going to be your age
Sure.
one day. It's nothing to be embarrassed. I've never getting old. I've always kind of wanted to be older.
Yeah.
Like honestly,
I'm the
because I
same way,
wanted
too.
to be wiser.
I'm kind of
Like I know when I was younger, I wanted to be wiser, and I was like, well, when you get older, you get wiser.
Right.
And so now I am much wiser now. You guys being younger, it's cool though to watch your guys' group. How old are you?
31.
26.
Yeah. Okay. So your guys' generation, it's interesting.
Mhm.
You guys are very smart for your ages, like because you've been fed so much information so
Yeah.
quickly since you were young.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So you guys have gotten wiser quicker than like my generation.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to ask you guys, getting back to the car business, is what would you say if you had to do it over again and you knew what you know about sales now from being in the car business, but you could do another career? What do you think you would have done?
Probably real estate. That's the first thing that
If you
comes
could
to
take
mind.
the
I thought about real estate
Yeah.
many times, but you know what? I thought about getting into construction too. I mean,
Yeah.
again, sales. It was just a natural thing for me.
Me too.
That's why it sucked me in.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to do construction because I did everything with cars, and
Right.
I didn't know
realized
he's got
that-
an automotive background.
Yeah, he's got a
Yeah.
big one. Yeah,
I didn't
he's
know
got a
that.
huge.
yeah,
automotive
no,
background.
I did everything with cars, and but sometimes I'm good with my hands as far as building stuff.
Yeah.
I want to build stuff.
To be truthful, I think
Mhm.
mine would be just sports because I played a little bit of college baseball, but like I obviously dropped out, and that was probably like my biggest like defeat was that I just
Yeah.
didn't commit like I should
Yeah.
have.
Yeah,
And
me
not
too.
that I don't like saying that one though because I don't really want to be like in the sports though because I like being outside of it too.
Yeah.
But that's probably like my biggest like regret I would say.
Yeah. I kind of have the same thing because I played baseball too, and I played a
Nice.
year semi-pro baseball.
Nice.
And again, the college thing didn't appeal to me, so I tried to walk on
Yeah.
at Wright State University. I had like Division II offers when
Yeah.
I was a pitcher,
Yeah.
and I had like Division II offers. So I was good enough to maybe like play D2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like
Exactly.
it was never going anywhere. But like I tried to walk on at Wright State University,
Yeah.
which is a D1 college,
For sure.
and down in Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah. Wow.
And you guys won't remember this guy, but it was Brian Anderson. He was a
Yeah.
left-handed pitcher who was out of Geneva, Ohio. And he ended up, we played for the Angels, and then he ended up with the Indians,
Yeah.
the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah.
But anyways, I go to Wright State. So in high school, I threw like 89 miles an hour, I
Nice.
think, right?
Yeah.
So, so I go to this Wright State tryout, and Brian Anderson's over. He's on full scholarship.
Yeah.
So I go and I throw on the mound for a little bit, you know what I mean, and whatever. And Brian Anderson went right after me, and it was like
One of those moments. Yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
I'm going home.
Yeah, right.
Like, I don't belong
Well,
here.
that's-
This time done.
I'm
I'm
spent.
well, because it was like his ball hit the mid, like
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You can
Like,
tell. Yeah.
yeah,
I know
dude.
exactly.
And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm out of my league.
That's how I felt,
I'm going
yeah.
home.
I'm not going against them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like I'm like, okay, I'm
makes
good.
you feel
I'm
like
not. I'm
crap.
wasting my time here.
Yeah, I'm done.
But having some sports background like you, though, I think it does give you a little competitive
Right.
edge when it comes to
Huge.
being in
Yeah.
sales. Did you play sports?
I did soccer, wrestling.
You're a big wrestler.
boxing,
You and
yeah.
him and his
Soccer.
brother are huge
Yeah.
wrestlers, though.
Oh,
Well,
really?
I did it for
Yeah.
8 years.
Oh, did you? Right?
Mhm. Yes,
That's
I did.
good.
Yeah.
It does give you a little competitive advantage.
It does.
doesn't
Oh,
It
for
does.
sure.
Don't you think so?
No,
It helps
I-
a lot. I think a lot of like even like structure sometimes and even discipline.
Yeah.
Like I played at Illinois State for 6 months, however long. I walked on and got accepted and then dropped out immediately after. So I don't even really have experience,
I sucked
but
at school so bad. Dude.
yeah,
I sucked at
I'm
school.
bad. I'm a bad school
Did you
guy.
go to college?
I did. I actually finished for business management.
Oh wow.
Where'd you go?
I went to college in Lake County.
Okay.
It was a community
Cool.
college because I
Yeah,
had to
that's
help
where my
out
fiance
family.
went.
whatever.
But,
Oh,
but
that's
no,
cool.
it was local.
You don't know
it was
his fiance,
close.
do you?
He knows Liv.
No, yeah, I do know. Her.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
It's all online though, so that's the good part. But yeah,
Yeah.
she just graduated.
Yeah.
Too, but that's good school.
That's
I think
cool.
At least one of the three of us did. I went to Harper for like a little bit, and that was pretty much it.
So what do you guys see in your personal futures in the car business? Where do you see your career going?
Honestly, I see myself owning one dealership
Good.
in the future.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Again, that's a goal since I'm so good at it.
It's a great goal.
I do a lot of different things: fix cars, sell cars. Again, I know the whole trade, so that's why I feel like that would be.
So you want to be an owner one day?
Yeah.
One owner, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's great.
sure.
That's
Mhm.
awesome.
I think I would probably just be like one step below that. Probably GM is what I would say. Just because I don't have as much knowledge there, so I would want to hit every checkpoint and learn it all. I'm a big learner. I like to write stuff down. Like to take notes on things, but that's kind of beside the point. But yeah, no, general manager is like a comfortable dream and goal for me because obviously owning can be, but I want to learn everything first.
So I've been a general manager. I've been an owner. I owned a minority owner, a partner in a Mitsubishi franchise.
Nice.
I also owned an independent dealership, and so I've been an owner. I've been a GM, and I'll tell you, what's disappointing about it is if you're anything like me, and I think you guys are both a little bit, you don't get to partake in the fun stuff anymore.
Right.
Like if you're the owner, okay, yeah. You don't get to work deal. I mean, you can, but you hire people and pay them a lot of money to do that.
Right.
So you're not going to waste that investment. So you let your people do what they're going to do. So you don't get the fun part. You don't get to do the fun. Here, dude. We all know what the fun part is, right?
Right. Yeah. It's talking to people.
It's
closing
deals.
deals.
And enjoying the process.
It's the fun,
while
dude.
The
you're
raw
doing it.
footage.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I don't need to do this anymore, but I still do it because I'm addicted to it. I still
Yeah.
love the fucking car business.
It's
But
electric.
like when you're an owner, you get to the point where, now if it's a small store, you could still work deals and do all that. Like, and I did that at my Mitsubishi dealership.
I'll still be a part of it.
And as
yeah.
a GM, same
Right.
thing. But like you look at Matt, our GM, he don't touch deals.
Right, and he's super involved too, and he used to be always touching deals. So for someone that's involved, not touching them, it's a great example.
Yeah, I think I'll be excited to watch both of you guys advance. You guys know how I am. I like that. That excites me watching people come up.
Yeah.
And I think that I could see both of you guys being very good sales managers. I don't know if finance managers in either of your cards. You have to have a certain. That's a different person, isn't it?
It's a different breed.
person.
Oh, for sure.
It is. I did it for 3 months here, and it did change me as a person.
If you offered me that position,
and I don't think
no.
It's boring.
I don't think I would go back. I'm not for it. I like to be out and about.
Yeah, you're more of a sales
I
manager.
could do it
think you too.
in the sense of sitting at the computer and doing certain things, but at the same time, if you offered that to me, I would just say no right now because I'm way too I'm not confident enough for that yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a tough thing. There's some guys that are really really good at it. Some guys that just absolutely make it their B word, but it's you gotta just really, it's a different animal.
It's a different person.
Yeah, it changes you as a person. I realize that. And,
It does.
It's one thing I don't want to go down a dark
Right.
path. Although the income and everything's good, but it's just, I wouldn't, you can't pay me enough to do that.
100%.
Yeah, no.
You know?
Yeah, it's really nowhere
It's
near.
good to
as
know
well.
it, though.
Yeah.
It is good to know.
Yeah.
I do think that to be an effective sales manager, you need to have been a finance manager.
Right.
I'm one of the guys that believe that you need to go through that path because if you know the finance aspect of it and LTV and PTI, and debt to income, and all the stuff with the lenders, it makes you a more effective desk manager.
Yeah.
Yes.
So as you guys come up through the ranks, to spend a little time in finance, maybe it's
Wouldn't
6
hurt.
months or
Right.
but I mean just to
it
know
makes you a better manager.
It
You're
does.
absolutely
I
right.
agree. I
It
think
does.
that would be one of the key components. I think that would be all of the knowledge
Mm-hmm.
if you really ask. Besides product knowledge and sales, but with finance, that's all of your knowledge that you have.
Yeah, and and you guys will both be good at this too. But when you become a sales manager, you're now your job is. I was on a live with Zach from Toyota.
Yeah.
From Mormon
Yeah.
Toyota.
Oh, yeah.
Hey Zach.
Mhm.
So I was on live with him and Doug Benz and Bow Ties from Mercedes.
I was watching that a little bit.
were you
I was
really?
watching you.
So we were talking about being a sales manager, and everybody was putting their 2 cents in about what's the number one job of the sales manager.
Right.
And my answer was very simple:
Mhm.
get to know your salespeople. Because how are you going to motivate somebody if you don't know the ins and outs of what's going on in their life?
I agree with that.
If you're fighting with your girlfriend today,
Yeah.
it's my job to know that because I
Yeah.
need to know how to manage you today
Right.
and get what I can get out of you.
Right. Yeah.
And if you're fighting with your girlfriend, I might take it easy on you. or I may pump you up, or I may, you know, whatever.
No, that's absolutely right.
But if you don't know that, how are you supposed to push that person's buttons and motivate them?
Correct.
And I
'cause
think
gotta
you
bring
guys
them
will
back
both
up.
be good
Yeah.
at that because you're both personable.
Yeah.
You care about people, and you got to care about people.
Yeah, I think this dealership just in general does a great job of like where they say if you don't get made fun of, like they don't like you, like you want to be made fun of a little bit. You
Yeah.
know, it's kind of a good thing. You
Yeah.
gotta be able to build each other up, like they say, iron sharpens iron. You know,
Yeah.
but this place does a really good job of that, like in a good way. Obviously,
Yeah.
there can
For
be,
sure.
Creating that relationship with the
Exactly.
salespeople.
Yeah,
Having that
yeah.
trust.
It's a
that
team
Absolutely.
type
bond.
thing. Yeah.
But that
like
what's
a
that
football
word?
team or something.
Yeah, but also that like that camaraderie,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like that camaraderie.
Yeah.
Like it's like a big locker room. You come in here, we're busting balls, we're having fun, we're
Right.
slapping high fives.
Yeah.
Maybe we're getting mad at each other too. You
Sure.
know, I mean that
Yeah.
happens. In
It's
locker
it's a
rooms.
good thing.
You know what I
No,
mean?
absolutely. I mean, when I first actually came here, I didn't get along with everybody, but it was hard. But once I did, I gained the trust. It made it so much easier.
Same
And
for
when I
me.
became a manager, it made it so much easier for them to trust me
Yeah.
in their deals and in the process and everything. And
Yeah.
that's what made me realize that that's what it takes
Oh, yeah.
to be a better manager,
Yeah,
owner,
yeah.
etc.
No, that's good. Well, that's good, guys. This is, I think, for our first episode. I don't think we messed it up too bad.
No.
I mean, you think we did a
No,
hatchet job? Or
I think it was
No,
good.
I
don't really-
it was great. I think
It's
it
kind
was
of
good.
natural for now. We
Yeah.
didn't even really write anything down. We kind of just went off.
We're
the top
winging
of our
it.
heads. Yeah.
We're gunslinging.
Well, that's part of the car sales too. You gotta be
Oh.
able to shoot the shit. If you can't shoot the shit,
No, you got to be quick.
And you got to be able to roll with the
Right.
punches.
Yeah.
That here for the salespeople out there, again, roll with the punches, man.
Yeah.
Something's
Roll
going
with
to
it.
happen today that you didn't see coming.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
got to be able to just adapt and roll
Yeah.
with it, whether it's an upset customer or a car breaking, whatever it is, employee or coworker or something.
Yeah.
So, but
Don't be
so
dumb.
for the salespeople out there, again, listening to these two guys, back to the basics, right? Was
Yes,
number one.
absolutely.
Take it as a
Make a
challenge.
relationship with
Yeah.
the person
Yeah.
and just watch the sales come, and then be able to roll with the punches,
Absolutely.
right?
That's-
I mean,
that's
I think that's three.
No, that's
We're pretty smart.
Yeah.
no, that's
I
how,
mean,
that's how it should be.
I know, I am. I'm just, yeah. No, we're pretty smart. We figured it all out. So,
So far, so good.
It's all
First
figured
step.
out.
Check.
So good. Well, good, guys. First episode. I
Sounds
love
good.
it. I love it. Looking
Right.
forward to doing a lot more of
Yeah.
these.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Sounds good. We'll be back for more.
Holler.
All right.
And see how it looks real quick.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna pop it in.